Here's an easy tip for any manager or leader out there, and that is to set clear and honest deadlines. You would be absolutely amazed at how many times someone gets asked to do a project, a task, whatever it may be, and they're given no deadline. And that's very frustrating because then they don't know what they're working towards, and the person who assigned the task essentially has to then micromanage them throughout the whole process of like, hey, what's the update, what's this, and blah, blah, blah. Now, just for clarity and avoidance of all doubt, when I said deadlines, you could break it up into various milestones. It doesn't have to just be for the entire thing, but make it very clear of what that expectation is. So, if something has to go live by, let's say, Wednesday of next week, then say this is the absolute due date or whatever it is for you. And that's where the second part of it comes in, the honesty part, because a lot of times, again, another thing that you will find just absolutely amazing, or at least I do, is how many times someone sets perhaps a deadline and yet they check in before that deadline, right? So in my made up scenario, let's say something is due next Wednesday and they're like, hey, it's now Monday, and they're like, hey, do you have it done? And it's like, no, you said it was supposed to be done by Wednesday, and it will get done by Wednesday, but it is now Monday, so it's not done. And it's like, oh, okay, I was just checking it. And that's very frustrating because, again, now, even though the person has set this deadline, now they're still micromanaging and checking in, and oftentimes it's interesting in that way, from my own experience, by just having to essentially, even as simple as responding to an email, it breaks up the focus a lot of times, because now I gotta respond to this as opposed to being able to work on something like that. And especially in the creative fields, a lot of tasks, right, take many hours, if not days, if not weeks, if not months. And so the constant need to just kind of have to report back of where you are. And I'm not saying status updates aren't good, but if things are going smoothly, then there's no need for that check-in. And if you're going to meet that deadline, then do it, right? I mean, I will say you as the person working on something, if you're in danger of not meeting the deadline, don't wait until the last minute to say that. Bring it up so solutions can be found, maybe there could be more manpower and stuff like that. That's fine. So I'm not anti-communication. This is not what this is about. What it is about is setting better expectations and allowing people to work, right? And, one of the things that when I share this tidbit with people, they say, well, maybe the person just wants to kind of get it Wednesday, but it would be better if it got Thursday. Well, number one, that's just too confusing. It's do you want it Wednesday or do you want it Monday, right? Number one. Number two, not that I'm advocating for this, but if the person actually wants it Monday, which might be, a tighter turnaround and whatever else, then even if that they have this high demand and big expectations, that's where the honesty part comes in, because I'd rather know that this is their actual expectation as opposed to saying hey, we just need it by Wednesday, but then they're hounding you on a Monday to get something done, right? That it just, for me personally, drives me insane. I don't know if you have experiences like this of stuff like that. The more common one, which was the jumping off point for all of this, is that generally there's no set deadlines for anything, and then everyone's just trying to figure it out, and it's hey, this didn't get done. It's well, was it supposed to? Because you just gave me the task and there was no deadline, so I'm working on it, but I got these other priorities, right? That's kind of a byproduct of this, is that the people underneath the manager or the leader, they don't know what to prioritize, right? So that's what this is kind of really about. It's a matter of prioritization, and I'm someone that likes to lead just by giving people the freedom to, go off and do it, right? So it's you have a clear set of expectations, go and meet them, If there's any issues, if there's questions, things like that, I'm certainly available, but we don't need to do the micromanagement side of it, right? And conversely, I like that for myself as someone, that's a freelancer, that's, an employee, whatever the case may be, right? So it works both ways in that capacity, and I think it's a very simple thing, but it is so effective. And I would implore you to use it if you are a manager or a leader, or conversely, if you are someone on the receiving end of such things, then go ahead and ask for clarification. When do you want this done by? And also you can ask for clarity. Do you want a first draft? When would you like that by? Feel free to break it down into smaller chunks. That makes sense. But get clarity so you're not lost in a sea wondering, what you should be working on and what the prioritization is, especially, as I imagine in our modern jobs, we all get drowned with a sea of just endless work. So, knowing what is due when really does come in handy. So I hope that helps. I hope that clarifies some stuff. And as always, I thank you for taking time to tune in. Hope to see you next time.